Wassail with the wind chimes. Different to Neptune's bell. So, we're here today to look into Null Island, which we will get to. But first of all, we need to have a little bit of a look at solar eclipses because they're very complicated. And I keep starting this and trying to gabble out an explanation that will make sense. And it doesn't a lot of the time. It's very complicated. So, eclipses come in patterns and they repeat every 18 years, 11 days and 8 hours. So that's 18118, which is quite nice. And if you add that together, because the two 18s either side make 9s, 9s vanish, it means it's always about a 1, that period. It's always about having a completion and a new beginning. So an eclipse pattern is called a Saros series. And the Saros series lasts for about 12 or 13 centuries. So that's 12 frequency or 13 frequency. So the current Saros series that we're looking at, that happens on the 10th of June, the one that we're in this tunnel heading towards, it's a very young one. It began on the 12th of October in 1624, and it was over a place called Sacral in Russia. Now, all of the eclipses begin, either they birth as a partial eclipse in the beginning of their pattern over the North Pole, or they begin over the South Pole. And as they go through their cycle, they sort of grow and they have this kind of ellipse. And then that gets bigger, and then that gets bigger, and then it gets bigger until eventually they switch from the south to the north or from the north to the south. So this one's still over the North Pole because it's quite a young series. It hasn't moved very far at the moment. And we're in the 23rd event of it. So there's been 23 other eclipses from this cycle. Now, as I said, they begin as partial eclipses. And then they grow to annular eclipses, which is when the sun and the moon are not quite distant and you get a ring of fire all the way around the edge of the moon, because the moon's a little bit further away and so it doesn't completely cover. When the moon's closer to Earth on the elliptical pattern that it follows, its orbit, then it completely covers it, and that's when you get total eclipses. But there are also hybrid eclipses, which is when an annular one moves in and just suddenly, due to an optical illusion, it suddenly looks for a brief minute or just seconds, it looks like a total eclipse. So this cycle is a very young one, and it's actually not a particularly full one in that it only does partial, annular and partial as it dies out. And some are much older. So the series that I was born in is the Saros cycle 124, and that one started in 1049, I think. That one began as partials, went annular, became total, went into a hybrid. Now it's back on annulars, and then it will move to partials. Now the one I was born in started in the south and has been rising north. This one that we're in started in the north and is heading south. Now it's interesting that the solar eclipse coming at the end of the year is even younger. That birthed in the 19th century, so 1800 and something. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at the birth of I needed to go backwards and look at the very birth, the first event of this Saros cycle 147, because it shows us the general energy that will keep repeating every 18 years, 11 days and 8 hours. And it's an energy that keeps pushing through. Now, when I look back at that, I began to notice that the most important energies within it was a relationship between Pluto, Gaïa, Uranus and Mercury. And the energy that I was getting from it was this notion that you need to voice change. So just to begin with, we're going to look with the cards at what is this energy of this solar eclipse. I didn't want those cards. I want these ones with the mixture of Le Chemin de l'Éveil, the awakening pathways, or the path of evil as I call them, the Chemin de l'Éveil, and the Moonology cards, to give us a sense of what's the overall theme from 1624 on the 12th of October. Interestingly as well, is the fact that when this one birthed, 1 month before, on the 12th of September, there was another solar eclipse. It wasn't total, there was another solar eclipse, and that was from another series, handing over as one series died, a new series was birthed. And they are, as Bernadette Bradley does a lovely article about it that you can read. I'll try and put a link into the description box if I remember. And she describes them as trees, which I really liked. And the idea is that some trees are planted in the south and some are planted in the north. Some grow upwards, some grow downwards. But what I like about the trees is it brings in that reference of Yggdrasil energy. So let's just ask the cards, what is the main drive to the birthing of Saros Series 147? What is the main drive from the 12th of October 1624, when Saros Series 147 was born over Sacral in Russia? It's very high up on the North Pole. We've got one Moonology card there, two Moonology cards, three Moonology cards, and no Chemin de l'Éveil. So let's take them in the order that they came at. So what's the general energy? Dreams needing a practical plan. It's got this energy of Taurus. Now, bearing in mind that this was born, this cycle, in Libra, and we've got that very important energy of Gaïa, Uranus, as being part of the Pluto-Mercury mix-up, this need to voice change. This is talking to me about how the current joining between the original birthing of that frequency and now is that Gaïa, Uranus, is in Taurus. And it's in Taurus at 20 degrees. That doesn't seem right. No, 20 degrees was when it was born, and it was in Leo. So I need to check the where it is now. It's on this page somewhere. 12 degrees. So it's been moving the energy of the ego. Busting the ego is part of this transformation of the ego, and it's saying it needs a practical plan. Now that it's in fixed earth energy, it's going to bust that energy up. Then we have, it's time to release the negativity. And this is Scorpio. Now, it's talking about it being transformative energy. It's not talking about the need for it to be a full moon in Scorpio. It's talking about how you need to have a plan. So they're saying to me, the plan is from this point in Null Island, 3rd of June, midday, it's kind of GMT. You need to have a plan for where you're going to come out of this tunnel. So we'll be looking at that. And then we have a gibbous moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. So let me just check something about the moon. Okay, so the moon is currently working alongside Pluto in the current Null Island data that I've collected. I don't want to reveal too much about that because I want to surprise you with it in a minute, but it's to do with having twins. It's about twin energies. So we're really looking at the energy of what's missing here is Mercury, but Mercury is working somehow on the transformation because Mercury is in rulership at the moment in Gemini. So it's at home. So we've got that energy. So I'm just going to pop some other cards on to give us a general overview from the tarot on this. And then we're going to dig into Null Island. And then we're going to look at how we get to speak to Janus. I haven't set myself too big a task today. So can we have a little bit more information about this original frequency that's repeating now from 1624, 12th of October? It was an air sign, and we're in an air sign again. Oh, interesting. So we have the Knight of Cups. This is the king in this deck. And the frequency I'm getting here is to look for Cancer. What's in Cancer? Venus. Sure, Venus is in Cancer. Yeah, 1 degree. Venus is on the 3rd of June. Venus will be in Cancer. So the important thing is to forgive yourself. That's part of the energy of this Saros cycle. This solar eclipse is about learning to forgive yourself. So there's the most beautiful butterfly just skimming around at my feet. Transformation. Scorpio frequency. And then we have the Emperor. The Emperor, you have to give me a moment because I've got so many stats, but I'm getting the feeling that this is to do with Mars. And Mars is singular, that's right. Mars is working all of its own accord at the moment. It's in... No, Mars is at 25 degrees of Cancer, and it's working with Black Moon Lilith to rebirth light. So this is about trimming shadows, trimming the energies, but doing it with this Venus sense of love. And they're both in Cancer. This is about dealing with the energy of your sacred self, your home. And then we have the Prince of Wands, and I'm being told that this is the movement post when we get into Leo season. This is the fire in Leo, which will take place later through July as we move into Leo season, and the Lion 8-8 portal gateway. So let's pop those all back and let's go on to Null Island, because there's so many different parts to this that I've got to read yet. So what is Null Island? Null Island is where the prime meridian meets the equator. So it's the 0 point, or 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds on both lines, and it's about 4 miles off the coast of Ghana. You can look it up. It turns up, it's been around as an idea for a very long time, but it's the idea that there's a magical timeless island there. And when I do my charts that I use to do the readings, I set that as the coordinates so that we're looking at the entire globe rather than just looking at, say, London or Paris or Melbourne, you know, or Washington. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's important to try and look at the point that's kind of the midday points, so that you get a sense that the whole world is working in around those energies. So what we need to look at is what this area is. At Null Island, it's a kind of deeply esoteric, out of time, out of space place. There is a weather buoy there, and it's moored in the Gulf of Guinea, and it's called Station 13010 Sol. It's just great that it's got the name Sol. It's a space where we can go out of time, out of space, to look at our soul. And that's what this Saros series just said. We're looking at how we forgive ourselves so that we can build a new ego for our soul to move forwards through this tunnel. It's also called 00 Island sometimes, and there's also a place called Potwin in Kansas, which is often seen as the kind of 00 point within the middle of what is seen as the United States. When you look at the whole landmass and try and work out the coordinates, there's a place called Potwin in Kansas that's often called 00 or null. So we're looking at a seabed depth of 4940 meters below the surface of the ocean. So this is a wonderful space to connect with spirits and to connect with all of the kind of gods and things that take place that help to shape our lives, and to look at ourselves and the tuning of ourselves within this space. So as I said, we're voicing change. So what do we need to look at? We need to look at the fact that on the 3rd of June at midday at Null Island 00, and it's so weird, I was testing the camera and I picked up the first card from this deck. I left it there because it just made me laugh. It was 00 fall, which just, for me, it was just saying, you know, settle into this reading, give the information. Because I'll be honest, this reading's slightly scaring me because I've been melting my brain the last few days, learning all about the Saros series and the patterns and things, and warping my mind with understanding. So 3rd of June midday 00, midday GMT, obviously UTC, we're looking at portals that open, and the main portal opens between Neptune and the Moon. And what will happen is the Moon on the 2nd to the 3rd will start to move towards Neptune, and when they conjunct, then they will go past, and that's when this portal doorway opens, and that's when some kind of new esoteric information, some space in which we can connect with whatever we want to. But really Janus and Saturn are part of it, because Janus is the god that looks forwards and backwards, so looking at the cycle, the moon, the lunar eclipse, and looking at the solar eclipse that's coming, but also looking at our past and looking at our future as we wish to redefine it. It doesn't mean when you step out the door everything's perfect, but what it means is that you set the intentions, and that's what Null Island is about. Intention setting out of time. I am going to ask the cards how you can meditate on this for advice, but let's just get through the fact that because we're in the Janus Geminis, and Gemini being the twins, we have a whole series of twin frequencies going on in the cosmos at this point, which is a really lovely thing to have spotted. So it begins, well, it doesn't begin, but I'm doing it in degree order. So the first one is there's a pairing between Venus and Jupiter. So they're both at 1 degree, Venus being 1 degree in Cancer, because Venus has just shifted there, and Jupiter's at 1 degree in Pisces, and Jupiter is in rulership. This is a really happy combination. We're going to throw cards on each of these pairs, but let's just go through the pairs first. The second pair is Gaïa, Uranus, at 12 degrees of Taurus, pairing up with Chiron at 12 degrees of Aries. So that's another mirror, twins, twin energies to work between. So then the third one is the Sun and Saturn, who are both at 13 degrees. The Sun at 13 degrees in Gemini, Saturn at 13 degrees in Aquarius. Saturn is in rulership, another really happy combination. So, and I want to say they're both air signs, so they're that one's going to be very much, because it will show us things. Venus and Jupiter are both in water signs. And then we have fire and earth between Uranus and Chiron. So the fourth one is Mercury and Neptune. Mercury is at 23 degrees of Gemini, which is in rulership, and Neptune is at 23 degrees of Pisces, which is in rulership. So that's a really sublime energy that's working with that esoteric portal. So in other words, this information that you will receive, you need to voice, you need to Galdir magic it, to bring it into an energy frequency, to give it physicality, to set intentions for where you're going. The next one is Mars at 25 degrees of Cancer, and Black Moon Lilith at 25 degrees of Taurus. So that's a really interesting one. That one, I don't know. I'm going to let the cards tell us how they feel. There's something about that one that feels great but distorted as well. So we'll just see what comes. And then we have the Moon and Pluto. And the Moon is at 26 degrees of Pisces and Pluto is at 26 degrees of Capricorn. And they're happy. They're giving a good energy together. So there's some really fascinating twin energies. And we're just going to dive in and get asking what each one means and then what we need to be thinking about in that tunnel when we try and call in Janus. So, I've got the double and a start deck. So, beginning with Venus and Jupiter. Oh, there's a card around the wrong way. So, Venus and Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter, Venus and Jupiter, Venus and Jupiter, Venus and Jupiter. So Venus, oh look, Venus, she's cosmic dragon energy. Jupiter is spiritual evolution, set your heart free. So this is big energy, really big energy. We'll get something from this deck as the space, the actual Janus point between those two planets, Venus and Jupiter. What's the Janus point? Right, it's gone down onto the floor with a load of cards, but I really only wanted three at one. So I've taken the one that's face up on the table, and it's the gibbous moon again that just came out linking into Venus. This idea of a notion, something esoteric, because look, the moon is waning to new, but the point is energetically, as it wanes down, it's saying there's something coming up to be delivered. So let's use the Muse Tarot to get the journey on this one. Remember, we're looking at Venus and Jupiter, and that's very much a link. The gibbous part is about a waning moon being given this energy upload by Jupiter to set your heart free, to set the emotions free, to work on a spiritual evolution with cosmic dragon energy. You know, Venus is... I've done so much on these recently, but I seem to recall Venus is in rulership on the birth of this eclipse in 1624. I seem to recall, I'll have to check that, but I'm pretty sure that this is ruled by Venus. And Venus, as I say, is at 1 degree of Capricorn, Jupiter's at 1 degree of Pisces. But Jupiter's going to drift backwards soon. So Jupiter's almost bringing a waning energy. It moves into retrograde on the 21st. So, the energy I've got here is of the Three of Voices. That's like the setup frequency. This frequency of feeling locked out. The dragon being the face behind, looking over the top of the door. But look, there's no wall. There's a door. It's like a false construct that we create to stop ourselves from moving forwards, to set the heart free. And it's really, this lovely page of materials is about bringing your thoughts into a new space in the natural world. So I'm being given the frequency of lower and higher heart chakra. Venus is higher heart chakra. Saturn, which is at 13 degrees of Aquarius in rulership, is trying to get you to bring your heart chakra, this broken heart chakra, back in line with the natural world, to reconnect with the new world that's forming around us. And then let's see what we've got at the side here. It's given us just one, which is the Seven of Materials. It's saying we've got to wed ourselves to the world. We've got to bring our heart chakras together. We've got to find this new energy of a beauty in the world. Our beauty, the world's beauty being drawn together. And we're using Venus and Jupiter to expand the higher heart chakra so that we can make that connection to the lower heart chakra and build that energy through. That's really interesting. I think I'm going to keep the cards there so that we don't get repeat energies. So I'm just going to put them in their order, pop them there, and then we're going to move on to the second one, which is Gaïa, Uranus, and Chiron. Now, they're both due to go retrograde. Chiron in July, and Gaïa, Uranus, on the 20th of August, and that's the big last one. So let's have a look with, we need this deck first. Gaïa, Uranus, and Chiron, please. Can we please have a message of their twin frequencies? What's the passageway that they're opening? So, 29. So, Gaïa is talking about opening your intuition. There's a real sense of locking in the notion of throat chakra, blue energy, peacock energy is taking place within this card. Seeing with your hands, seeing energies, allowing prana to appear is what I'm hearing. So that's milky white streams when you focus on energies. And then the energy card for Chiron is the Galactic Healer, a fabulous card. I absolutely love this card. But considering Chiron's often talked of as the wounded healer, and we did our wounds of Chiron, it's really talking about that frequency, to open your intuition to your wounds. And because this is Gaïa Uranus energy, it's the energy that will really bust through problems, things that won't shift. So let's see what Janus has planned. What does Janus have planned in the middle of the tunnel or the space between Gaïa Uranus and Chiron? I want to say, it says le feu, but there's something explosive. It's weird that this one has given 3. So you have le feu, la rêve, the dream. This is that intuition. This is geometric, sacred symbols. We've got a lot of the star signs going around here, but they're intermixed with lots of other alchemical symbols. And we've got Saturn rolling around, but we've got like a double Saturn. There's some kind of movement between Saturn and the moon, like the moon has to pass Saturn twice, which it does, obviously, you know, monthly. It's to do with going through the stellium frequency. In the stellium, the tear that was opened in Aquarius on the 11th of February, it's to do with that frequency. And it's got, oh look, it's so beautiful. 29, that's 11. And we've got another 1. 111, new beginnings. So we have that, we have the fire. And then at the end here, we've got Carpe Diem with the Galactic Healer. Seize the day. 1717 is going to be worth a good look up. There's a cheeky little bird in a bush over there. Oh, and there's a bird on the card. So you've got to fire up your ability to dream new geometric downloads somehow that are coming. They're coming post the 20th of August, but you've got to face up to what you would like them to see. So you've got to fire up your dreams, again referencing back to the heart chakra with the hummingbird. The heart chakra's on here. It's almost the energy I'm getting is this huge explosive burnishing, like the Chiron wounds will burn away because you've got Gaïa, Uranus in Taurus, busting open all the old fixed feelings that you pattern into yourself, that you give yourself a victim culture with. They're needing to be changed. So the question here that you're asking, Janus, is actually, I think, there's 6. It feels like these are part of the columns that we did. We're looking at 6 pairs of columns. The planets have lined up. I didn't realize that before, but they're saying, look at it, that's the journey. Some of these columns you've already faced and you're going to move on to other ones, and it doesn't matter if you only do one of them. The point is that you're bringing new energies to yourself. So that's really fascinating. Tarot, we need some tarot on it. So can we please have some tarot? We've got Vortex. It's not devil energy. This is the problem with the devil card, is it has so many interpretations, but this is that burnishing again, those fires, but it's to do with fires that change and burnish the seat of the soul, the sacral chakra, and it's transformative energy. What else would you like to say, please, as the relationship between Gaïa, Uranus and Chiron, the wounds, the healing, the transforming, 6 of materials. Look, an absolutely beautiful central balancing point between these 2 energies. These 2 planets are working together right now. They're 1 sign apart from each other, and yet somehow I'm being told that from Chiron, if you think of Chiron going backwards to look at wounds, and the fact that Gaïa, Uranus, is Uranian energy, which is always an energy that wants to move forwards. It's like between those 2 energies of Aries and Taurus, Chiron's going backwards round, and then Uranus, Gaïa, is going forwards. There's a point where they're taking in the entirety of the horoscope, of the zodiac, to bring a new energy into fixed earth frequency, materials. I'm being told the 6th, because we've got 1-5, which is 6, 6 of the 6th of June. There is something about the 6th of June that's been playing in my mind for a while, but then it got lost. We'll have to keep an eye on that, because I really don't remember what it is. Sometimes the downloads come in, and I had the 6th of the 6th as being a really important day. There will be a portal. I'll look into it. And the last card, 5 of inspiration. Look, this is wounding. This is wounds of Chiron type energy. This is looking back at the past and healing it, but you have to do it. You have to go and look at it. You have to seize the day. You have to 1717 it. Oh, 8-8 portal again. You have to work out the ways in which you've created or allowed a sense of shame to be driven around you that's rotating in your frequency. I'm seeing images of planets rotating. It's the moon. It's 2 moon cycles past Saturn is something to do with this healing. Okay, so that's the relationship there between Gaïa, Uranus, and I've got to make space to put these somewhere sensible so that in case I need to grab at them again. So the next one that we're going to look at is the Sun and Saturn. So the Sun is at 13 degrees of Gemini on the 3rd at midday, and Saturn is at 13 degrees in Aquarius, and it's in rulership, and it's still sitting there working with the... I'm not taking that one because I'm not ready for it. working with the idea of 13 frequency in the stellium, creating a new energy, a timeless energy, and that's what Null Island's about, going on a timeless meditation to discover something about ourselves. So Saturn and the Sun and Saturn, please. We've got one for the Sun, and now we've got Saturn. Okay, this is again got that frequency of energy, blue communication energy, tying into Mercury from the original frequency of voicing change, galdeering the change, speaking the changes that you want. I think that will come out when we look at meeting Janus at the end. But so we have 7, 25, living light energy. The Sun is your life force. It's the source frequency behind everything. And then we have 3, astral travel. They're saying to me that the Sun and Saturn are relevant to how we meet this Null Island meditation. They're really key energies. Astral travel is to do with dreaming, but you can do it in a meditative state if that's possible. And all you would need to do is, they're saying, find a way to sit in your own energy, to find a calm, go to somewhere. It needs to be in the natural world. Saturn needs you to be outdoors for this. You can't do it indoors. You can't do it, you know, if you've got a lovely little altar that you've built. It won't work there. It needs to be in the natural world, because when we just talked about Venus and Jupiter, that was about connecting the higher heart to the natural world. That merging of the page of materials, a new innocence in the natural world, is what brings this frequency forwards, a loving energy in the natural world, because we've got to change our relationship to the natural world. We've messed up much of our relationship with the natural world. So go out and focus on, it needs to be in the sun. I don't mean if it's a cloudy day on the 3rd when you go out to do this, that doesn't matter. It's the point that you need to do it in light, in daylight. You need to be able to sort of sense the notion of light, because this is about connecting with Saturn and to be taken on a journey. And you can just take a pad and you can write down things that come into your mind. Just write down anything. It doesn't matter. Do not judge yourself for what comes out as you write. Just write the things and then come out of the meditation, sit and look at what you've written and think about the things, see what they might be trying to tell you, and then go back into another meditation and see what you write the second time. I'm not saying you're waiting for some kind of magical, you know, Saturnian hand moving yours as you write. Just write the thoughts that come in. Allow them to just come in. You know, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I don't know, I need to go shopping, write that down. You need to go shopping. Find out why that pattern rises so quickly within you so that you can mark it. So let's go to the deck here, the double deck, and see what we've got as the journey here between the Sun and the Saturn, because this has got a tantricness to it. And when I talk about tantric, I mean about a connection to the living energy, the living light energy that's inside your entire body, but it comes in from the cosmos, but it's also connected into the earth. It has roots. So they're saying to me, do not block your grounding. This is why you need to go outside to do this. So, oh look, we've got a mixed bag here. Okay, so time for healing. This is what Null Island is about. It's about healing, setting intentions. And then we have card Le Désir, the desire. And I'm being very much drawn to the transformative nature of our hearts and our minds and our bodies. It's like we have to peel off the skin, the form that we present to each other, because we need to transform what's inside our centers. And the Sun and Saturn will do that. So it's kind of getting naked with the cosmos. I don't mean you need to go outside and take all your clothes off, but I mean we need to shed the shell that's dead that we're wearing. Shed the dead shell. Okay, so let's go to the tarot. Oh, I didn't like that. That was a burst. I'm going to rifle them. Got an itch. So, Sun and Saturn. Sun and Saturn meditation. It's interesting because in the Janus Janus, you go in and you meet the statue of Janus or Saturn in the middle of the thing, and he has 300 in one hand and 65 in the other for the days of the year. And when Janus took over as the distinctly Roman god of the past and the present, you had to connect the sort of, you would have your fortune told in the middle of the temple, and that's kind of what Janus is trying to offer you, the chance for you to write out things that matter to your fortune, and then you Galdeer them, you say them, but you say them to Saturn. So, and the sun is obviously the life force. And in the golden age of Saturn, it was believed that Saturn was the sun, a kind of brown sun. So we have the 10 of inspiration, the 6 of voices. Oh, that's really interesting visually. And the 5 of materials, there's definitely dream space coming. So you've got 10, 6 and 5, so that's 10 and 11. We've got 11 as Le Désir. So you've got the 10 of inspiration, but what I'm saying is interesting about it is it landed showing me it like this. You've got to see this pattern that rises up to deliver you. You can't move through an Janus Janus if you can't spot the patterns, and they're saying that's why you have to write down your meditation, all the things that crop up, because some of the things that crop up will just be unnecessary, but you need to see how they play out as the predominant thoughts in your mind. They're the fractal patterns that need to be released. Spirit's working with you. I'm being told it's Venus energy that is carrying us through this frequency. She's the one carrying us over the 6 of voices, through over this difficult water to land us safely. But there's something about the doorway still being distant from you until you shed your skin, until you come out of your old chrysalis, until you transform. You need to move into that energy of shedding, and that's the sun's door at the end, with the sun's, the Saros 147 energy coming through. Keep thinking at some point we'll get a card 1 and 4 and 7 that will line up, and then we'll all be like, whoa, cosmic. So that is the third one. Let's have a sip of water. The fourth one is Mercury and Neptune at 23 degrees of Gemini and Pisces, but these are both in rulership. Wrong deck. So let's give these a rifle. So our next pair, working on the energies together. Mercury and Neptune, please. That one didn't fall. Divine Consciousness. That one fell, and that one fell. So funny. So Awakened Spirit. Mercury is the desire to change, the desire to speak the change. There is a sense from this card of the Galdeer magic. So Galdeer magic, as I say again, is different to Sadir magic. Sadir magic is that telling of a fortune and pulling the energy in. Galdeer magic is vocalizing the idea of what you wished, it vocalizing the intention. So you've got 4. These are at 23 degrees. So that's Mercury, and then Neptune is coming across as create open communication as an ascended master. So create open communication. There's a sort of an energy sense of not connecting the dots. They're not looking at each other, and you need to open communication. So you call in the spirit of Mercury, who will help you with that wonderful fluidity of motion, and it's a very zippy, quick energy. Remember, Mercury's right now retrograde, so it's ready to speak up. Neptune's going retrograde very soon. So you need to set up through Janus this notion at Null Island of communicating with Mercury and with Neptune. And it says ascended masters, but I kind of want to say descended, as in like at the bottom of Null Island at the sea. Deep below, connect through the Akashic emotional records down deep into the ocean. So, can we please have what that journey is? Not taking ones that don't... We've got one. Well, now we've got a load. It's so interesting. It's constantly pulling in the frequency of Venus, or the frequency of love, the frequency of emotions. So we've got take time to breathe out. Breathing out. When we breathe in, we fill our lungs, and that allows us to create vocal communication. So you need to practice slowing down your breath in your meditation outdoors. So we're kind of getting piecemeal ways in which this will work. And you need to observe the pairs. I'll try and write them all down so that you can follow them with their passageways. So what do we need to do? Bring love into the situation. So this is Mercury and Neptune, and it's the water bearer Ganymede. And Ganymede was kidnapped by an eagle and forced to be a water bearer. So they're saying to me, it's this notion of understanding, what have you unwillingly forced yourself into being? What's the energies from that last one of the things you need to shed the skin of? You need to communicate those to Neptune. Neptune's in rulership, and also Mercury's in rulership. So this is a really important energy of voicing things. And they're at 23 degrees, and now we have 23. Look, this is the good times. This is the good times 23, because they're both happy in their rulership. But look at how distant this little hummingbird is, carrying the heart chakra together, bringing the love into the situation. But you've got to create that frequency as something much bigger, because Neptune is a giant energy, an old energy, and it's got the Titans. Now the Titans were pre-god gods. They came before the gods, and so they birthed. If you go back to Gaïa and Uranus, they birthed the Titans, and those came before Saturn was the Titan. I'll have to check that, but he was one of the older gods, and then Jupiter took over and he swallowed all of his children. There's something about, and that's got this frequency. It's like dealing with something very, very old, and they're saying in my mind, but it's not a very old Saros cycle. But what you're bringing up is an old energy of the separation that has to take place between the two heart chakras in order to live a physical life. You have to talk to the giant energy that is Neptune and Oceanus, I'm being told. Oceanus is the birth of all water, and Neptune is the god of water. So somehow you're looking at trying to go right back to that point when the hearts were torn apart, Enlil separating heaven and earth to create space for humanity, but it tore apart an energy frequency which was our combined heart. You can't come into our life with a combined heart chakra. You have to work to fix that frequency, and that's bringing the love into the situation, carrying the 23 degrees Bonon frequency through as a small heart growing, becoming bigger, working with the ascended masters. So we have the Tower, but this isn't a Tower moment to fear. This is a Tower moment of power, empowerment. This is what happens when you empower your heart, when you connect your love back together, your hearts together. And then we have the female emperor. Now, they told me something about her the other day. Let me see if I can remember it. So this is about the combination of emotional and masculinity and femininity. So what they're trying to say is that when you have the emotional feminine believes in life, and all life can kill other life, but that doesn't matter to the emotional feminine. This is about combining the emotional masculine with the emotional feminine, because we've got to change that kind of patriarchal toxicity that's playing out at the moment, and that's a really important frequency that we've got to lose. We can't keep going on where we assume that the emperor, and we had the emperor earlier in that first reading, and that was fiery male energy that has been coming over as a distortion. We've got to bring an alignment between the emotional masculine and feminine. So no more of the raw shit, just the emotional stuff. The higher spiritual, side of the divine masculine and divine feminine has yet to come into the equation. But we're in this tunnel setting the intention of combining these two energies within us, transforming something. And it's a massive, a giant, a titan, ascended master energy. But so I'm being told you won't be given it yet. You've got to prepare for it, and then it will come. So do you have any other message, please, from Neptune to do with that? Do you have any other message, please, from Neptune to do with that? Okay, so Neptune's coming out with the Nine of Voices. The Nine of Voices is the divine air epoch frequency here. It's Nine of Swords energy, and it's about remaining calm and witnessing and feeling. You have to go to sleep at night, and you have to set the intention that with all of these energies that you will constantly wake up in a new dimension that's a better place for you, a better balanced place, because that's what dealing with this polarity is. It's about bringing those polarities into an equality. That's what Janus does. Janus doesn't turn and look at all the rage in the past and look at all the beauty in the future without knowing where the middle point is. And it's about setting that middle point, and that's part of the balance frequency that comes as we move out of this big Plutonian. And that's what it's to do with. Pluto's the key player in the original birthing of the Saros 147. So we've got to be aware of the fact that we're trying to change things. But Pluto, remember from the readings I've been doing, has been working with Venus. So there's wonderful energies tying in, but you've got to do these emotions. So this is the twin energies that exist between all of these twinned planets that are working at the moment. And this is Null Island point in a meditation, and you're sitting there unsure of what the gift is at the moment, but you're ready, you're connected, you're earthed, and you've got communication. There's something about the light language. The light language was in, okay, it was the dream card that's working between. This isn't coming until after the 20th. The 20th of August has got a lot of really important frequencies to it. So let me just look at the numbers that we've got laid out here. We've got 2 4s. We've got a 44. Why am I being given 44? Other than that it's a balancing number. Let me just go back to the other chart. There's something to do with 44 and I can't pull it. Oh, I see what they've done. So it's the depth of Neptune underneath the thing. So the depth was 4, 9, 4, 0. That's what they were trying to show me. And we've got another 4 here, just to make sure that we communicate to the right depth in our meditation to reach Neptune. Okay, so let's pop those all together. I feel like it might rain in a minute. Cindy was out last night enjoying beautiful weather outside. I think she's stolen it from me. Give it back! So, that's the 4th one. We've got the 5th one to do now, which is Mars and Black Moon Lilith. And they are at 25 degrees. Mars at 25 degrees of Cancer and Black Moon Lilith at 25 degrees of Taurus. Okay, so let's give these a shuffle and a rifle before we begin, because they need their own frequency energy when we come in. So Mars and Black Moon Lilith, Mars and Black Moon Lilith, Mars and Black Moon Lilith. Let's have another little... Mars and Black Moon Lilith. There's Mars. Mars is offering sacred wisdom. Oh, interesting. He's got the light language. And Black Moon Lilith has gone down on the floor, which has also made me catch a card here. Black Moon Lilith is the sacred celestial gatekeeper to the energy balance. She's 768, 727, 727, and then 768. I'm being told, because it's about perfect timing on Black Moon Lilith, the timing's not correct yet. The energy that Black Moon Lilith and Mars are working on isn't now. You have to set the intention, you have to understand it, you have to ask them to give you information about what your journey with them is, but it isn't for the end of this tunnel, it's for the movement forwards. Oh, because Mars hasn't yet reached the Aquarius stellium tear that took place on the 11th of February this year. It's still working its way around there. It's only just in Cancer. It's got a long way to go before it hits that energy and transforms. So there's something about that. She's sitting as the gatekeeper of the frequency balance that's coming. So let's have the journey between those. So this Mars frequency, we've got a lot of bird. This is the real spiritual part that's misunderstood, is what I'm saying. There's very much this is the pattern on the back of these cards. You can create all kinds of forms and shapes. Mars is holding this sacred energy, but it can't release that energy to you until it's the critical moment that Black Moon Lilith agrees is the moment to learn. So we're looking at Cancer and Taurus. So it's water and earth. So what's this journey between them, please? What's this journey between them, please? What's this journey between them, please? I've gone down on the floor. Let's get that. Okay, so it's the journey to the awakening. And we've got this sense of Saturn and Mars. I know this isn't Mars as such, but they're showing me the awakening card, Saturn and Mars. It's the divine awakening, and it's connecting into Ceres, apparently who's at 9 degrees at the moment of Taurus. So we've got 5 and 9. So we're journeying with Mars all the way round to when Mars enters Aquarius and conjuncts with Saturn. I don't know when that is. I can't remember everything, but we'll make a note. I'm going to make a note now, actually, because that's, I need to dig into that, because that'll be another reading that's coming. So Mars arriving conjunct Saturn. It's giving me, it's saying that that is an absolutely distinct time scale that we need to work with. Okay, so let's get the tarot in there. So they're part of this twinning energy now, but they're the longest of them working together somehow. They're the most distant in their revealing. Two of materials. It's about a change, but below here, again, this is about disrupting the moment. There's a hard crystal, there's a barrier to that full earthing, because it needs to have, timing is critical to reach the balance. And then we have the Ace of Inspiration, Sacred Wisdom, Mars, Wands, Fire, Aries energy, I'm being told, and then the Chariot. It's that point at which it comes in. I'm being told that 7 is really important, because we've got 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, which 7s and 2s make 9, so there's a divine timing to this. And then what I'm left with here, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, which the 9 vanishes and that's the 1. That's when it comes back to the 1. Sorry, I'm not explaining that very well. They're telling me numerologically there's a perfect timing on the maths of this, and it comes back down to 9s and 1s, 2s and 7s, and then this creation of a divine moment with 9s, and then how that all filters down into a single 1, a new beginning of sacred understanding, a new energetic balance that's coming through Mars and Black Moon Lilith. And it's the Chariot, it's movement, it's the point at which everything will shift forwards. So we just need to check when Mars conjuncts Saturn. I mean, if someone can do that and just put it online for us all, that would be very jolly. But I will have a dig, because there's something that's going to bother me, that there's something coming that I haven't got any notion of, because it's so far ahead. So now the last pair that we need to do is the Moon and Pluto. Okay, so let's get the cards. The Moon is at 26 degrees of Pisces, and that's the portal that's opening with Neptune, who's at 23 degrees. So it's at the point at Null Island when it's a 3-degree opening. So let's give this a rifle. So Moon and Pluto, 26 degree in Pisces and Capricorn. Oh, that was really interesting. So the Moon is light codes, travel awaiting us, new esoteric information inside that portal. And then, sorry, I'm just looking. And then we have, that's a 6, and this is a 6. This is 33 soul fragments, but they're also saying it's a 3-degree opening between Neptune and... This is when Pluto, apparently, is going to reach inside your heart as if bringing the energy of Venus, who is, as I said, she rules the eclipse because she ruled it when it birthed. So that event of the first eclipse happening, Venus rules it, and Venus is working with Pluto to do with the 6th of the 6th of October is coming up again, because that's the new moon in Libra. Venus rules Libra. This is the point when Pluto goes direct and he's able to put his prograde again, you know, stationary direct, put his hand in with Venus energy and help you to fix your heart. But we have to go into this tunnel knowing, set the intention, the Gaïa frequency, to move out through the other side. So there's a lot of speaking with gods and planets to take place in meditations to praise the music of the spheres as we move through this. And they're all in there, all 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're all in there. But Ceres is on its own, but that's the divine part. And it's got to it's to do with releasing old depressive thought patterns. What do you need to release? Old depressive thought patterns. So we're going back to the moon. The moon is talking about waning. That's what it's doing right now. So in this period, with this magical lunar eclipse energy, where everything's waning down towards the solar eclipse, but you need to face that door knowing that you've got an intention setting that goes past the door. We've got another moon card. I just said the 6th of October, the new moon in Libra has turned up. So this is about facing something that you need to set, and it's a new romantic cycle. This is mirror souls. This is that frequency. How weird that it would come with Pluto and the moon, but it's trying to show us all of this within the different pairings throughout this Null Island moment, where we've got all of these mirrors at different degrees. 1 degree, 12 degrees, 13 degrees, 23 degrees, 25 degrees, and 26 degrees. They're all showing you the different layers of compatibility that exist between planets that you wouldn't think should have this compatibility, and yet they have these moments when they work to bring divine balance. 6th of October. 6th of October. So, any more to just say on that 6th of October? It's really funny. It's given another 6 just to make sure that we've got the 666, so that we really get this notion. 666 is also a reminder always about the frequency that makes humans think it's okay to abuse any life, animal life, insect life. You know, it's the frequency at which we give ourselves an excuse to keep abusing the natural world, and we shouldn't. And it's the mea culpa card, and it's almost saying that the moon, this light code frequency, this understanding, is to understand, to let go of old patterns of depression, but also to let go of these 666 patterns that keep telling us it's okay. My mistake. That's all you need to say to Pluto. Sorry, my mistake. I didn't know better, now I do. Okay, so let's get some tarot on this. Let's get some tarot on this. Let's get some tarot on this. 3, again, that's 333, 666. Reminding you that this door on the 3rd, oh, I have too many numbers. on the 3rd of the 6th. Oh, this is all 3s and 6s. 6, 6, 3, 3, 6, 3. We're on the 3rd of the 6th. I love the cards when they're magically numerologically magical. And then we have the 3 of Inspiration is talking about talk to Pluto, because Pluto is like the gatekeeper of the original frequency of the Saros Series 147 when it birthed on the 12th of October in 1624. And you need to, there's a door here, and you need to reset your intentions. Look, she's knocked over, she's stacked up all of the old things so that she's read them all. She's understood all the things she's gone through. She's had her mea culpa. Whoops, I'm sorry. And now she's moving forward. The door is there. It's not fully opened yet because we need to go through it, but she's setting the intention. She's walking away from the old. So that's all these old depressive energies that we've been carrying, bad thought patterns, and she's moving into 9 of emotions, which is the genie in the lamp, letting the genie out. The light codes are the genie energy, the new, better manifested thought processes that help you to move on. This is wish card. This is transforming things, but you've got to make your wishes on the 3rd of the 3rd. Set some intention. You don't have to get them all right. There's going to be more opportunities to do things, but you do need to work with the Moon and Pluto and know that the doorway between Neptune and the Moon is a 3-degree doorway that you're slipping into on the 3rd of the 6th. So that's all 6 of the pairs. Now, just going to ask Janus, the 2 faces of Janus, what Janus wants to add. Janus, what do you want to add with your 2 faces? It's being led being led astray. Secret temptations. And then 14. Energy signature. The past is in the present. That's the most Janus of all the cards that could come out of this deck. Because you've got to look down at all those secret temptations you've had and understand that they're actually what helped you to move into the future. Your past is what brings you into the present. If you didn't have these moments, these face-melting, depressive, furious, angry, self-hate filling moments, you wouldn't grow to bring all of that past energy into the future. So Janus, me old mucker. Janus, what do you want to say about that? What do you want to say about it? That was a bit of a weird, explosive moment. So, the closest card to being led astray is your South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. Don't let your past hold you back. All of your past was the pathway to the present, which is where the Janus face turns before we go into the future. And also the solar eclipse is a south heading solar eclipse. The energy of the solar gateway, the 147 Saros series, is heading towards the future. The sun, the solar eclipses, they don't let the past... There's my friend the seagull. They don't let the... Patrick, did you hear that? They don't let whatever went in the past hold them back. Their journey is always onwards from wherever they were born to the other side of the world. And then we have reaching a midpoint, reaching a balance point. 2 fish, Pisces. So we're looking here at the energy of Jupiter and Neptune, and Jupiter is at 1 degree and Neptune is at 23 degrees. Okay, so we're looking at reaching a balance between all of these opened columns, all of these polarities, all of these yin and yang energies that exist within this eclipse tunnel. It's finding the balance point, reviewing the situation. I am reviewing the situation. So meditate and contemplate. Meditate, go into Janus, talk to Janus, identify your polarities between each of these pairs and give that information to Janus, and don't forget to say sorry to Pluto. And then you have prosperity lies ahead. This is a new moon in Taurus, but what they're saying about this is it's a new frequency in Earth, a new Earth energy. These are new moons. And it's the new moon that will cover the sun to reveal the doorway. And then what's the next card that brings us out? The bloody new moon. So a new start is coming, but you have to focus on the frequencies. Tell Janus, go and have a chat, talk to him. Look, it doesn't matter if you go to some hillside and sit down in the sun and talk to Janus and write down things and you feel nothing connects to you. Janus will hear you. Sometimes learning how to accept things is about learning, and we've got the Muse Tarot, is about learning to accept the Muse frequencies that come through us. If you write a great poem, you would say a muse helped me to write that poem. If you write a song, you say a muse helped me to write that song. But when you're dealing with your spirituality, you have a habit. We all have a habit. I had a habit that I had to break, which was you believe it's your brain just making it up. But we don't do that when we're inspired musically or artistically. We say a muse moved us. And that's what needs to change. You need to trust your own spiritual journey and understand that. So just write down what comes to mind. So Janus, what would you like to say? So Janus is firing you with inspiration. This is that muse. Janus and all the planets are trying to give you information. They are the queen of inspiration, and they're saying that you are bigger than the magician you imagine you are, because this tiny little cheetah at the bottom down here, this is the giantness of your higher self. Don't keep thinking that you're something so small and insignificant when you're a huge magical beast. And you've got to untangle and understand how your life has caused you through these secret temptations to just get muddled, to get lost, and accept that and separate those out. That's what all of these twin energies are. These wonderful, I mean, you know, you couldn't plan it. There are 6 of them working in twin frequencies, which gives us our 12 columns, and the 13th one right now is Ceres, which is all about resetting the seat of our soul. So do you have a final message, please, from Null Island, Mr. Janus? I know what that card is. The sun door will open and you will have a new mandala. And I'm going to say Miss Remy will probably do the most beautiful sun mandala reading as we head towards this door. I'm just getting that sense right now. Sorry, Reem. But the sun will come out. It's beautiful. The message is the sun comes out. And that's 19. So again, that makes that 1. That notion of all those numbers that we're counting down just now to a single 1. The frequency constantly of this particular 147, and I've not actually thought about that, 7, 11, 12, is a 12 frequency. This is, so it's a solar eclipse that asks us to bust things open and create a new frequency. It's coming. Beautiful. So I'm going to go. My wonderful friend Olga's coming to stay, and we're going to go and see some museums and things. Oh my God, and I've been talking way too long. Sorry about that, people. I hope that helps. This is Null Island. We've got more to come. I'm going to have to do the 6th of the 6th. And we've also obviously got the 10th. And then we've got solstice, summer and winter. But hopefully by then I will have moved to my new desert location. And I'll be at the Neolithic stone circle that day. So, wish me luck. Also, the cards still haven't arrived, but I'm just going to have to let go of them. I've got the t-shirt printed for them, but the cards, they're just being held up, and I don't seem to be able to get them. And I wanted them for today, but thank you, cards that spoke. You gave beautiful messages in the absence of my cards that actually has Janus in. Anyway, wassail, beautiful people, and have a great time visiting Janus and all the planets on Null Island with your new meditations. Bye.